Hello people on the internet, we're going to do the speeches now, so we're just bringing the laptop down so that you can all see them. So hope you've been enjoying it this far. You can see a few people. Everyone's waving. People on the internet. As you can see, we've got the original Cube sign as well, which a few people are signing. In the book as well. Yeah, so we're just going to put it over here so you can see what's going on. Can you hear us? Hey Cracker, how's it going, man? Hope you're enjoying the show.
Say hello to everybody over in the UK. Hello. Hey boys, good to see you watching, and yeah, it's an awesome day. Oh, Hazy boy. And we got Jaffers in a Spates Cup.
Sorry. Can you turn up the last name as well, right?
Hi everyone. I'll just have a bit of quiet, it'll be good. I just want to welcome you all here today to celebrate the life of Andrew Dreaver, one of the nicest guys to ever walk this earth. I'd like to encourage people to come and share their funny and touching stories about Andrew. Please sign the book for Aidan that's on the table just in front of us. And if you'd like to make a donation to a fund that's going to go towards Aidan's future, there's tubs all along the bar. There's also slips of paper up on the table with bank account details if you'd like to make a deposit. And 100% of all donations go towards Aidan. I'll start off with a story that one of our good friends, Diego Mayer, sent us. Well, it's a few words. It's actually quite a few words. My brother, I wish I would have not have to write these words down in this message. My words will probably echo the words of many others. That is simply because you are one of a kind. Your attributes as a person are well known to all of us. You would simply light up a room with your goofy smile and your unique laugh. Your persona was always so positive, which translated in being so positive on your take in life, and this affected all your friends in an extremely positive way. I remember the very first time I met you. You were playing After a Logic, and at the end of your set, I had to come and introduce myself, as I absolutely loved your set and wanted to book you for my next event. As I was in New Zealand only a few years before, I had no clue that you used to be the top of the game for many years before that. And you never mentioned that because you're such a down-to-earth person. And I remember posting online how great it was to have an up-and-comer as good as Haze, as he was such a good talent. I got given so much shit for this, obviously. He was a legend from the past coming back. And I'm sure he did as we were mates since that very first conversation at Space. I treasure all the times that we would talk about music for hours on end, and the times we would mix for almost days at a time. Your enthusiasm always stroked me and increased my passion for music even more, while getting pleasantly stuck in the spiral of giggling, mixing and having a good time that made what until today had been the best few years of my life. But you know what? Even the past, the common love for music, that initially got us close. Sorry, his English isn't the greatest. I treasure even more the times we spent chilling, having a drink or a barbecue with our friends. The times I came to you asking for help, as I always respected your wisdom, and the long conversations we had over the phone since when I moved to the UK. The reality is that our friendship was stronger than our love for music, and that will stay with me forever. I really miss you so much, my brother, and in this tragic situation, I can clearly see your last message to all of us. You have made us all get closer to each other and made us appreciate what we have and the people we care about, and for that I am most grateful. I will miss you for the rest of my life. Diego. Would anyone else like to come up and say something? I know there's a few people that would like to say something. No? Oh, yeah, right.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Kyle.
That's much better. I can see everyone now. Now I know what it's like to be Big Dave. This is great. It's a constant view of the tops of people's heads. Oh, by the way, we are actually streaming live over the internet as well. There's a lot of people from all around the world that are watching this right now. So hello to everyone down there. They can only see me. They were watching you before, as creepy as that sounds. But we all know and love Haze. I mean, he was the reason that we're here. Is his big shining face everywhere you go. It's hard to forget that smile and those ears. I mean, it's been a tough week, knowing that he won't be with us anymore. But I suppose one of the things that we can always take away is that he was a very positive person, and the fact that he, touched us all to the point that we're here. Oh, wait, that sounds wrong. We know that he was, he had such a positive influence on everyone's lives, and we can't miss him for the fact that he won't be around anymore. We need to really treasure the time that he was with us. And I will encourage you to share stories of what he, the difference he made in your lives today. That's why we're here. And I'd just like to propose a toast to Andrew. So if everyone's got a drink, or just, if you don't pretend you do, just grab a glass. And everyone raise your glasses to Andrew. Andrew.
Lazy boy.
And would anyone else like to say a few words?
Yeah, I've got another.
Nathan's back.
I'm back.
Yeah, we all know I like talking, so I just want to share a little story that we had with Andrew about a year ago. So about a year or so back, we went down to Wellington for Ryan Dreaver's stag do. And yes, it is. Yeah, it's pretty much PG, sort of RP13. So as we all know, Andrew loved to have a good time, the odd drink, and a good play fight. So on our first night there, Andrew had quite a few odd drinks, and decided to go to bed a bit earlier than the rest of us. I was sharing a room with Andrew. So as I entered the room that night, about to go to bed, assuming Andrew was asleep, I walked past his bed, and he jumps on me, wrestling me to the ground. I managed to convince him to get back into bed and go to sleep. So I too start trying to sleep, only to have him launch out of his bed again a few minutes later, dragging me to the bed, wrestling me to the ground. So the next night, we'll go out to dinner. My body's still sore from Andrew's surprise play fighting the night before. We were at a really nice Mexican restaurant, and I asked the waiter for the hottest chili sauce. When Andrew wasn't looking, we spread a tiny bit around the top of his beer. He took a sip, and the burning sensation immediately kicked in. So he took another sip, and another sip, and another sip to try and fill his mouth. By this stage, Ben and myself and a few others were crying with laughter. So we decided to step it up a little bit, and when Haze turned his back again, we poured some sauce directly into what was left of his beer. This time, he took a sip, and immediately we all burst out laughing. As he looked at us, the realisation hit. You could see the laughter in his eyes and the pain in his face. Luckily, there was a waitress standing next to him. He just grabbed her apron, and all he could mutter was, "Milk." She ran off to get him some milk, and as soon as he got it, instead of drinking it, he stuck his whole face in it and started blowing bubbles. Andrew was okay, and back to his cheeky self within a few minutes, and that night we all slept without incident. Andrew touched us all with his amazing heart, his kind and sincere words, and his infectious smile. The world would truly be a better place if everyone was a little more like your brother. And this whole event just goes to show that even the happiest people can be hurting. So be there for your friends, and if we can prevent this happening again to anyone else from what we've learned by this, then at least we know his death won't be in vain. And remember, smile when you think about him. That's what he would have wanted.
Hi guys, I'm Chris, for those of you that don't know me. Before I carry on with this, I've got together a banner this morning. We've got a bunch of markers here in my pocket. Just it's going to Aiden at the end of the day after being used at Meltdown tonight, and another charity gig that is possibly in the works also for Aiden. So all these markers, we'll whip it down once the speeches are finished, so everyone go and sign it. There's not too much space, so try and keep your messages small. That would be awesome. The first time I met Andrew, I was actually dealing with my own issues. Not too similar from his, but talking to my other brother, Cracker, before I met Haze, he says to me, if you meet Andrew, you go up and say hello and tell him what your buzz is. And it was one night at Space, and nights in those places get pretty crazy. The last thing you want to really talk about is problems. But I says to Haze, I told him, I'm good mates with Cracker. He's told me to introduce you. He was also with Abby at the time. I'm a very good friend of mine also. And he took me aside and basically chatted until I was smiling, And that's the type of person he was. Just the love that poured out of him was amazing. So, as you can tell, I'm finding all this pretty hard to get out. And these lyrics from the song Pennywise, it's called Bro Him. I'm going to ask all my brothers to come and stand with me while I read it. To our best friends, present, past and beyond, especially those who weren't with us too long, life is the most precious thing you can lose. While you were here, the fun was never ending. A laugh a minute was only the beginning. Andrew, Dreaver, Haze, our brother, this one's for you. If you ever get the feeling you can't go on, just remember whose side it is that you're on. You've got friends with you till the end. If you're ever in a tough situation, we'll be there with no hesitation. Brotherhood is our rule that cannot bend. When you're feeling too close to the bottom, you know who it is you can count on. Someone will pick you up again. We can conquer anything together. All of us are bonded forever. If you die, a part of us dies, because that's the way it is. So that's about it. Thanks.
All right, there's a few things I want to share with you guys about Andrew. So I guess the first one is about him as a DJ. I moved to this country 10 years ago, and when I first got here, I was in a really lucky position that I used to be able to get up and down the country to play in different areas. And every single place I went to, whether it was Auckland, Christchurch, Hamilton, everyone was asking me about DJ Haze. Had I heard of him? It was unbelievable, the buzz around this guy. And a lot of us, we've all been doing this for a while, and it's not just about your musical ability that gets you to where you are. Who you are at your core, at your centre, that energy that you have feeds out into the crowd, and you all know that. And that is a big part of why Andrew was so loved from a dance floor. As a bro, he was absolutely hilarious. He was one of the lads like you wouldn't believe. We've all got some pretty rough stories. I remember recently our trip to Rarotonga for Ryan and Bianca's wedding. I'm still not sure if it was Andrew or Kyle that were responsible for the gravy granules in me and Ben's beds. Waking up sweating, smelling like sausage and mash. That was interesting. Seriously, every time I opened my mouth and looked at something, I could taste pina colada after I got back, thanks to Andrew. One of the things that I won't forgive him for is the fact that one of my, the memories that I'm not going to be able to get out of my head for the guy is him streaking around the back garden. He'd been asleep for 2 hours after smashing the living hell out of it all day, and the next thing we know, he was athletic, right? He actually sprinted the whole length of that back garden in his birthday suit doing the Zoidberg impression. And I can't stop thinking about that, unfortunately. But Andrew is a friend. We were talking about Ryan and Ryan's stag do. I remember at that point in time, I was at a really, really low ebb in my own life. And we had a chat early in the morning. It was a big night. And Andrew, the silly sod, he got more upset than I was about my own problems for me. I'm not joking. And that sums him up so well, right? And it's almost like the guy had so much love for everyone else that he just forgot to use some of it on himself, which is kind of gutting, but that's Andrew. And I guess the last thing I want to leave you with is what we spoke about, Nathan, is at the end of the day, we all know the caliber of person that Andrew was, and to have had him in our lives, to have been a friend with him, says a lot about us here as well. And we need to remember that in the days and weeks and months that come, because we remain, and, you know, we're a special bunch of people, and we all need to be there for each other. Cool.
G'day. For those that don't know me, my name's Nick.
Everyone knows you, Nick.
What I'm going to deliver is I find it quite hard to put into words what Andrew kind of meant to me personally, and what I've written, a novel. And for Aiden, I'm going to read to you guys as well, because it kind of sums it up quite a lot for me. Now, I first met your dad, keep in mind it's to Aiden, in 1998, when he strolled into my record store, Criminal Records. The first thing I noticed was this huge big smile, and he displayed an absolute amazement for a world at the time he knew very, very little about. You see, Aiden, your dad didn't just get into something and want to be just okay at it. He wanted to be the absolute best he could possibly be. He was so excited to learn new skills, and he would be the first to ask plenty of questions. His enthusiasm was infectious, and his genuine naivety for different challenges was to be absolutely admired. This was the basis for our 15-year friendship. I was a regular live-in guest. Now, for those that ever spent some time in Sussex Street in Grey Lynn, this is going back to the end of the late 90s. We would spend hours and hours, similar to, I think, Diego's story. Andrew loved music. He just loved music so much, and we would literally spend hours upon hours, and man, he had the crappiest gear known to man. To those that were at his funeral, or to those that have known Andrew pre-getting a decent job, will know he's had some absolute crap cars in his time as well, but he never realised it. He never ever realised it. He just thought his car was the best car ever, and he held it with absolute pride. And this was the same as his turntables. One of them was like a dial. I can't even remember what they are. And the other one was just absolutely tragic. But man, we spent some hours on those things. Basically, yeah, we'd spend every waking moment, normally on a Friday, for a good year or so, just the two of us showing off our favourite tunes, trying to push each other to be better, all for the goal of perfecting the art of DJing. Simply put, we wanted to be someone. Reflecting back now, all I can say is, wow, did your father, so to Aiden, become someone special, all right? My belief in your dad was so great, I hired him to work in that very store he first walked in. And for the first few years of the 2000s, Andrew proudly manned and represented the Criminal Records brand with pride. Soon after, he became one of the most respected DJs in Auckland through his own personal hard work and positivity. Not just because he played good music, but because he always took time out for every single person that he met. And while look around, there's a hell of a lot of us. I don't think he realised at the time, but the skills that he learned, not just technically, but socially and business-wise, carried him right through. And this made him one of the most charismatic and warm people that I have ever met. Those traits I know he's going to pass on to Aiden as well. Your dad and I weren't as close in 2013 as we once were, but the era that we did share unquestionably lives up to his stage name of Haze. It's a haze of achievement, a haze of laughter, a haze of determination, and a haze of friendship that will never ever dissipate in my lifetime. To Aiden, you should be very proud of your dad, because we sure as hell were. So that was from me. And also the other thing as well, which I've brought up a couple of times, and it's really kind of ironic, but one of his favourite early hard house records, which I know a lot of you guys will know as well, was Steve Blake's Expression. The lyrics on that, and it's just blows me away, but yeah. Life is all about expression, so express yourself. You only live once, and you're not coming back. So everyone, please express yourselves. Thanks.
Hey, I arrived in New Zealand in the end of 2002, and just like Daniel was saying, all I heard when I got here was Haze, 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 and I kept going out clubbing and kept looking out for Haze, and he wasn't playing. It's like, what's going on? About 5-6 years later, I met Haze, finally, Andrew, and we had a really great chat, and pretty much to the day that I arrived, he stopped DJing, and we started talking about things, and I got to know him, and one of the things he talked about wasn't really about music, because I was just starting to get into sort of my sort of real life, my sales career, and I was at the beginning of that, and he was sort of well entrenched into that, and he was telling me about his job and his role at, I think it's Philips, something like that, and it was quite inspiring actually, and you know, everyone's talking about the music and everything. I just remember little times when I was working at Office Max and I'd hate it. And I'd think back to myself, and I'd think back to that conversation. It was just inspiring, thinking about Haze and thinking about Andrew. The stories that he told me, the enthusiasm that he had for his work and everything, kept me going through those dark, you know, you all have your dark times in your job. And through those dark times, the stories I always remembered, thinking there's stuff better out there, life's better out there, were always the stories from Andrew. And, you know, it goes without saying his music was amazing and his friendship and positivity was amazing, but I always remember that, and that's what I'd like to share with you, because sometimes it's those little things that you take for granted, and they were quite massive at the time, you know. And so yeah, just thought I'd like to share that with you guys anyway.
Can you guys see me? My name's Gavin, also known as Short in the dancing. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Well, basically, when I got into the scene, someone introduced me to the K-Road scene, and also Potato, if anyone knows. Also Cookie, and all those little scenes, the little industry scenes. And basically, when I got into it, someone introduced me to one of the CDs from Haze, and he said, "Hey man, you got to play this." It's like, "Oh, what the hell's this shit?" And then actually got introduced to Trance House, but then I was actually introduced to Hard House. I was like, it's pretty bouncy, it's pretty good. And all of a sudden, it's saying, "Hey, this guy's Haze," and actually going, "Who the hell is Haze?" As you guys know, and introduced to him in the K-Road scene. And ever since I actually met the guy Andrew, he actually gave me full respect. And here's me introducing into it as a new scene. I was like going, "I don't know anyone," and he actually came into the scene as he introduced me as my height. Actually kneeled down to me and saying, "Hi, name's Drew, I'm in Haze. You may have seen my CD, Overdrive." I was like, "Oh, you're that guy, oh shit, oh my god," you're like so respectful. And ever since from that, I gave him full respect, but he actually introduced me fully to the scene of what it's all about. It's all about music and love, and also respect for everyone in the community, as we see today. And every time I saw him, he gave me full positivity, everything, and I give him full heads up to everything around here, as we see today. Yeah, it's going to be a loss, obviously, but from what he actually introduced me to is all the community as we see here today, and I fully give up to that. And all I know is I came into here playing a CD Overdrive 2, and yeah, that's all I should say. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name's David Ding. First of all, I just want to acknowledge Nathan, Ben, Kyle. I've never been prouder to call you guys my friends. The way you've handled this, the way you brought the scene together, the way you've interacted with the friends and the family, I honour you guys all with seriously respect. Thank you so much. I've got to do my best to get through this, so bear with me. I didn't get to know Haze till later on in the piece. I knew Abby first, and whilst I knew Haze very, very well for many years, he didn't have a clue who I was. and the reason I knew him is because he's my favourite DJ, and I'm lucky enough that because he lived, I was able to discover a passion in myself that when I discovered it, I pursued with obsession. And this is the thing, you don't understand how you being yourself can ripple out and impact the people around you. So, you know, as I say as a youngster, but I didn't even discover my passion until I was sort of 24. And whilst I was trying every weekend not to go out, all it took was a text from someone to say Haze is playing, and it'd be like, all right, go on then. The problem is he played quite often, so this is pretty much every weekend. And I think a lot of us can remember his CD, the Overdrive CD. My personal favourite was the first one. And to this day, it's the only CD I've ever worn out in my CD player in my car, to the point where I would even listen to it skipping. When it finally stopped playing, I was like, fine, it's done. So I got to know Abby quite well, and then when they got together, I was in London at the time, and I knew I was coming home, and I couldn't wait to come back and meet Haze and just say to him, listen, he's with my friend Abby, and just explain to him the impact he had on my life. And the first thing that happened when I met him, and he said to me, I've been waiting so long to meet you, everyone said such great things, it's such an honour, blah, blah, blah. So from that point, that moment where we could share that mutual respect, quite a special friendship started. So the types of conversations I would have with Haze, we'd end up playing on a lot of gigs together, and I would always find myself with him at some point in the night, just standing back from the crowds, watching what was taking place, and we would both just say how grateful we were to be able to do what we did to people who were getting so much joy from it. And it was that honouring of other people. These are the moments that I shared with him, moments of gratitude, shared gratitude. He had such a big heart, and he genuinely lived for other people. And he expressed that through his music. And a lot of you know that he was a real pioneer of hard, tough music, but it was uplifting. It had an upward trajectory. It was full of love and triumph. And triumph comes from a place of facing adversity. And that I personally believe that came through in his music as well. But he was always hopeful. He was always positive. And so when you have an experience of a friend that's like that, you just assume that they have thoughts that are like that about themselves. And whilst he thought that about everyone else and was sharing that with everyone else, his own mind chatter was his own worst enemy, and none of us really knew what was going on. So, I mean, he wasn't perfect. When I got back from London, he was playing Hard House. But I forgive him for that. He's definitely not perfect. But, you know, we used to talk about things like work, and he had aspirations to manage people and to lead people and to be a leader of people. And I can't think of a better person to be a leader of people, because he would lead by example. And all he ever wanted was the highest growth and expansion for the individuals around him. He was never looking at himself. And whilst he used to beat himself up for not achieving or not being successful or failure, what he doesn't realise is that because his light was shining so brightly, the people around him were threatening him and trying to suppress him getting forwards. He was trying to move forwards at work, and I could just see that he was just so good. He would always nail his targets. He made a career and a living out of building relationships with people. It's a gift, and when people see something in others that they wish they had in themselves, they try and put that light out, and the brighter it shone, the worse luck he had. So I would love to just say to him, explain to him that there is no failure. There is no failure in life. There is just an experience you have that empowers you to make a better decision next time. And that's what I'd say to him. So Andrew, I admire you, I respect you, you had a profound impact on my life. I love you and I honour you.
Hey, I just want to share a brief story about how much Andrew meant to me. Is that back in Rarotonga, we were there for Ryan and Bee's wedding, and we had all hired a batch on the beach, and the first night there we all were on the lash pretty hard, and it got to about 11 o'clock at night, and me and my infinite wisdom, without telling anyone, decided to get on my mountain bike and go to the airport and pick up Dan Rowe. I only had a basket on the front of the bike, so this is never going to happen, especially because he had a suitcase. But actually, I remember him telling me he passed me in a cab on the way. He saw this wasted unit leaning up against a hedge trying to pedal. But anyway, eventually everyone realised I was missing. And in my head, I decided it was a bad idea because it was raining, and I turned back and had driven home safely. But that wasn't actually the case at all. Andrew came to find me, and he went walking up the road, and he was yelling out my name, and in the distance he heard this, "Yep." And I was actually passed out and was lying in a ditch. He picked me up and carried me back home, and he gave me the biggest telling off I've ever had. This is like a telling off that my mother would be proud of. It was an actual proper scolding, and it was at that moment that he elevated himself from not just being a friend and a brother, but he was family. And I'll never forget that. But there's Haze pretty much had two moves. One was the chop, and one was the point. So if you could all join me in raising your finger and point to Andrew. I know he'd love that. And furthermore to Dan's story, it was him that put the great mix in our beds. I've grilled everyone that was there, and no one wants to fess up. So it reeks of him.
Typical Andrew. I spent an hour telling him that he was a good guy. Everything was fine. After he told you off, he felt so bad about it.
He actually made me cry from that telling off. Oh yeah, I missed you, bro.
Is there anyone else that would like to say a few words? No. Right, we've got one more story. Oh, we've got Abra, of course, Abra.
Oh, God. I haven't planned this. This is the shittiest week, as you all know. But he loved all his friends so much. I've been going through my external hard drive over the last couple of days looking at photos from our time together, and I stumbled upon a list of his, which was his secret list, which when I moved home in December, obviously he's transferred it, so I was meant to find it sometime. I haven't told any of the boys about this because I didn't know if it was too soon to say anything or whatever, but he wanted all of his friends to know how much he loved and appreciated every single one of you, just spending time with him, being there for him. We were his family in a completely different way. And you know, that support, it's one of the things it was the one thing he cherished more than anything in life. So just take peace that every single one of you meant something to him. Just know that. He was so proud of everyone, and he was deep down, he was proud of all of us and loved you all. So, rest in peace, hazelnuts. Oh, gays. Too much. Too many.
Thank you, Rob. I've just got one more story to finish on a bit of a lighter note. For me, one of the things I was most mad about for Andrew is that he missed one of the best All Blacks games in the history of the world. Because he was mad about rugby.
I had brought us white bait. We were going to have white bait fritters that game, and he bloody well missed out.
But the last All Blacks test before that, Andrew came round to watch it with us. And he mostly watched the game. For the rest of the time, he was looking at us. And a lot of you would know that Andrew, if he's not involved in a conversation, he'll want to see what's going on. So he'll sort of be like, and he'll have the head wiggle, and he'll look at each person one by one until he realises what's going on. Sometimes he got there. But in this particular occasion, he tried to stand up and he gave me a shove, and I pushed him back onto the couch, and then he thought it would be really funny to drag me over my coffee table, breaking it into 4 pieces. completely demolishing the coffee table, smashing a couple of wine glasses in the process, and just giggled the whole time. So that was one of the sort of, the final sort of amusing memories I have of Andrew. And then we had to tell him to sit down. He sat on the couch just giggling the whole time that we were cleaning up the glass and my coffee table from the lounge. But I know that all of us have several of those stories of Andrew. And this whole week there's been silences in the conversation. Everyone's been gathering and you have moments and then everyone stops talking. And those are the points where Andrew would probably pipe up or break something. And when you have those silences of the conversation, just remember that he's there and he's always going to be smiling because he doesn't know any other way. So yeah, cheers to our friends Haze.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything?
Ryan.
Yes.
Hey guys. Again, just want to thank Kyle, Ben, Nathan, everyone, the core crew that have put all of this together and just brought everyone together for such an awesome dude. I don't know anyone else who would pull this kind of reception, man. This is insane. So thank you to all of you guys for showing the love and support of Andrew. I did have some words written down. I actually gave them to him. I got to see him at the funeral home and put them in his pocket. So I don't have them with me, but I'll try and remember what I wrote. Basically, Andrew, my brother from another, I try and pinpoint the time when I first met him, but I can't. It was, of all the gigs and all the clubs we went to, he was always there behind the decks, smiling away, doing his thing, and he was just an awesome guy, and somewhere along the line, we became best mates. I can't even, my heart's beating so fast. Look, I'm just gutted. I'm gutted at the fact that I won't be able to see our kids grow up together, play at Shakespeare Park, down at the Mount on the beach like we always planned. I'm gutted that I won't be able to go and have a quiet beer with them down at Garrison's like we always did every couple of months and just shoot shit about life, love, music. I'm gutted that I'll never be able to write that track with you, bro, that we always said we'd write and we never got a chance. Procrastination, man. I'm just gutted to have lost such an awesome, awesome friend. I know you guys are as well. Such an awesome father and an awesome son. But do you know what? I'm so privileged as well. So privileged to have had him in my life and to have known such an amazing guy. It's just crazy. The other thing is he stood by our side in Rarotonga at our wedding. Like these guys have said, there were some massive stories from the guy has an absolute nut job, but he the fishing boat. All right, so the fishing boat. So the day before our ceremony, the day before our wedding, we went out and we got this charter boat. And Andrew, he had been hitting it hard every single night in Raro. And this day was no different, man. He just got on it big time. He was so chopped. He got on the boat. He was so sick. Basically, we were going out off the reef of Raro, and he's literally lying on the boat, rolling around on the top of this deck. Every now and then he had to take a piss, and Ben here is holding him by the scruff of his neck so he doesn't fall in the water. There was a bucket there, like a bait bucket. And we're like, bro, put this on your head, man. We'll take a photo. He's like, yeah. Got this mean photo of him with a bucket on his head with his beer. Just a champion. Such a champion. So, yeah, look, sorry, I've completely lost my words, but all I can say is such a good dude. I'm so blessed to be able to call him one of my best mates. And rest in peace, brother. I hope you found the peace. I mean, you know, you've gone for reasons we will never comprehend. But I know you're finally sleeping well, bro. So I'll see you when I see you, man. Cheers.
Is there anyone else that would like to say any last words? No. Okay. Before we finish off, if we could just remember Aiden as well, his son. I mean, it's tough for us, but for a boy of Aiden's age, I think he's 8 years old, to lose a father like that, that's something that really could affect you for the rest of your life. So if we could all just take a moment just to write a nice message for him in this little book just up here, just so he's got something positive to remember his father by.
Also, there's as you can see, there's a couple of big posters here. That one at the back in particular, I chose that one because there's a lot of empty space around Haze's face. If everyone could just sign it, we're going to pass it on to the family. Obviously, don't write on his face because they want to see him. And if you're going to write a story, keep it brief so everyone can have like a little space to sign. But yeah, if you could just do that at some point, that'd be awesome.
I just want to think about that photo. That one particular photo. That was probably about 3 hours before he crashed. Just pointed out. Okay, so we arrived in Rarotonga, went out for a little bit of a lagoon cruise in our kayaks. We hired a scooter. If any of you have ever been for a drive with Andrew, a blimmin' car is bad enough, let alone a scooter. So he actually had the courtesy to say, don't get on the back of this with me just yet. I'm going to take it for a hooner. I'm just going to take it for a hoon around the car park and find my feet with the scooter. I'm really glad he did that. He lost his legs completely. He accelerated instead of braked and crashed into a parked RAV4, another hire car. He headbutted this car, his glasses smashed into his face, and he had this humongous shiner. It was there for about a year. You guys will probably remember it. It was epic. So thank God he didn't have the shiner because it's a pretty beautiful photo. Beautiful man.
I'd just like to say a final thanks to everyone who's been here for support over the last week. It's obviously been a tough time. The support from everyone has just been amazing. And also like to say a big thanks to the bar for donating us your bar for the day. Hats off to you guys, really appreciate it. And thank you all for coming, it really means a lot.
I'll just direct Justin because he said if he's not back in time for me to grab his shit.
Oh, okay, yep.
I'm just going to call and see because when you have to be out at 5.
No, we can be here all day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said it's when we got enough people, if we do, he's quite happy. He never gets as much business on Saturday, so he's happy as fuck.
Okay, so he's going to do missions.
Just watch the power.
Yeah.
Yeah, pass me the laptop.
Yep, and I'll grab the power.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to go back to drinking and enjoying all of the music now, so it was good times. Please post your messages on the page if you can. That's facebook.com /Andrew Haze Dreaver. Please feel free to post any messages you like. And cheers for tuning in. This is Dave. I'm not Dave, I'm Kyle. One second, I dropped the power cord out of the laptop. Kind of need that. Yeah, good call, Bing. As you can see, we got some good photos of Andrew. There's one there just by himself, and then we have another one up here with Aiden.
love of his life. Actually signing those things. That's the original Cube sign as well, which he was a big part of.